We're about a month away, a little over a month away from the first quarter earnings meeting where Elon Musk will give us a report on what's happening right now. And also, uh, consumers as well as reporters will be able to ask questions of Elon, which he will then answer. Now, last month, we were lucky enough that Elon participated in an interview just before the earnings report, and he answered a lot of the really serious questions that were out there. And it was fantastic, which left only a few for that I was concerned about. And I'm sure in most cases we would agree on the most important questions. There was only a few questions that had to be solved at the earnings meeting. But then what was crazy was, for some reasons, the reporters did a terrible job of just listening to what happened in the actual earnings report. And when it came time for them to be able to ask their questions, they were just stuck on whatever question they brought with them rather than responding to what were some great opportunities they could have asked. Well, anyway, that brings me around to saying this is that I usually wait until like 2 weeks before the earnings report, and that's when I will give my list of the things that I'm hoping that will be on that call. And but this month I have so many questions. I've never had more questions, and they're deep. They're important, critical questions. Anyway, I want to share those with you right now. Sometimes I'll answer what I hope, or anyway, you'll see. It'll be a lot of fun. I hope you'll give me some comments down below. Maybe you have some answers to some of these questions, or maybe you've heard some ideas. Maybe you could ask Grok. Grok probably is not going to know. Anyway, let's see uh, what what you think about these questions. And then as we get closer, maybe some of these questions will have been answered. Maybe they won't, but maybe some of them will make it to the top of the deck for the consumer questions. Anyway, let's take a look. All right. Number one, when will you be coming back to work? When will you be making Doge into just one more, like the same as the rest of the companies that you run? So there's just one part of what you're doing as opposed to your focus. Now, you told us that there was going to be the 4 month period where you were going to be really, really focused. And you said that the entire Doge thing would end next July, not this July, but next July 4th with the 250th birthday of our country, which is a very, very long time. And so where are we now? Well, we're really only a couple of months, not even 2 months into the 4 months. Well, at the time of the meeting next month, it'll be 3 months into the 4 months. So there was also this interview that he was in yesterday where he said that it's going faster than he expected. So maybe an update on that. Will his concentrated 4 month thing be less than 4 months so he can get back to working, especially on Tesla? Or is it still going to take that 4 months? And then is the year and a half, is he going to be able to really, really reduce his participation well before that year and a half? So that would be the question in its entirety. That's number one. I think that's the most important question on everybody's mind right now. Let me know again if maybe it's not your most important question, but let me know if that's important to you. Then the next one, how will the tariff situation once it's fairly, by the time this meeting takes place, the tariff situation should be fairly well worked out. We should know where the reciprocals are going to happen, where the carve-outs are going to be, what things are going to be problematic. But what I want to know is at that point, next month, how will the tariffs affect Tesla? How are they looking at that? I mean, this is material to the company if there are things that we're making in Mexico, we're making in Canada, we're making in China, we're making elsewhere in the world, where those items now coming into the United States will have large tariffs on them, which will require either to raise the price or to beat up the manufacturer to do it for less, or will be something which maybe Tesla makes vertically, or where they maybe move the manufacturing to a country with less restrictive tariffs, or move it to the United States and not Tesla. So all those kind of possibilities. But what are you going to do? Which is there a significant impact from the tariffs, and how are you going to mitigate those? Okay, next one, number three. I didn't number these, so I won't be able to keep up with that. Last quarter, you said batteries were a constraint, which is the question that no reporter asked about. So while the answer probably would take you an hour or maybe 5 hours to really fully scope out. Can you give us a summary of the issue around the battery constraints and whether it is currently or will it in the future impact any production? So has Cybertruck been impacted? Have the mega packs been impacted? Did it slow down the introduction of the semi truck? How are these batteries impacting production? Will they impact it in the future? What are there still such constraints? If there are such constraints, when would those be relieved? Is it constraints on certain kinds of batteries? And then, if you want to give us a little bit of whipped cream and a cherry on top, you could talk about some of the chemistries maybe that are coming out later and how those might impact pricing and whatnot. So anyway, a lot of different questions around the batteries, but the main ones are, what do you mean there's constraints and will those be resolved? Of course, there's another question with regard to batteries, which I ask all the time, and that is when will we get to a 100% run rate on the first 4 lines at Austin with regard to the 4680s. And then once you've got them up running on 4 lines, I know you're planning to install the second set of 4 lines or have already installed the second 4 lines. When will those 4 be operational? And then from there, what happens with Reno? What happens with Germany? And also, will there be lines in Shanghai or anywhere else for that matter? All right, next question. Is there going to be a $60,000 Cybertruck? Right now, I think we're at 80. I think that's the cheapest, 79,950 or something like that. Maybe the next one would be a 70, and then after that, a 60. So what's going to happen in terms of pricing on the Cybertruck? Is 60,000 still a possibility? And even better, do you have plans for a Cybertruck that would be even less than 60,000? Is there a way to get that thing down to, say, 55 or 50, 49,950? Is any of that possible? What would be the timing? And then also, is it true that you're planning to go worldwide? We've heard about China, we've heard about Australia, we've heard some conversations about Europe. So is the Cybertruck an item that will eventually be worldwide? And will it be made anywhere else? Or will it 100% be made in the US? Maybe you're planning to do some manufacturing elsewhere. Next question. Where are we currently in the efforts to get FSD, unsupervised and unsupervised ride hail approved in the United States? So we've got both issues. So we've got the unsupervised for you and me when we're tooting around town. And then we've got the ride hail question. And both of those are subject to regulations in some places, like, say, Europe, let's say Asia, let's say most of the world, and in most of the states, or at least a lot of the states. So where are we on that whole thing? Maybe a map, a world map, a US map, check mark, a little graph or a chart with all the countries and check marks. Yes to unsupervised, yes to ride hail, yes to unsupervised, no to ride hail. Anyway, how are we doing on that? Maybe a kind of an expectation of when most of the world will be covered. What are the hangups? What are the things that are holding us back? I mean, if these cars are going to be as capable on the middle of June to be able to be used as ride-hail cabs, it's hard to imagine why they wouldn't also be able to be unsupervised for me and you, and for me and everybody else. Will unsupervised happen before that? Or will the cabs come out first and run those around town for a couple of days or a couple of weeks or months and then unsupervised? Or will it happen all at the same time? And then once it's unsupervised and they've been out for a couple of months, what would be the holdup anywhere in the world if they've been running for a couple of months and there's no problems? I mean, no significant problems. In fact, significant decreases in the number of accidents and deaths. All right. So next, do you have a goal for semi-truck beyond the 40 to 50,000 that are currently in the plan? You once said that semi is more important than cars and light trucks for the environment, and it would seem to also have a huge potential to drive down the cost of everything once we put FSD on it. So will we see hundreds of thousands? Will we see 1 million or more? You guys know that watch this channel. I think it'll be 1 million per year. Brian Wong thinks it'll be 4 million per year. But will it be at least hundreds of thousands? Will it be more than that? That would be fantastic to find out. We are also looking at, we're having trouble with the system here. I'm freezing. Is it going to keep freezing or is it done freezing? Okay. So you once said the semi is more important than cars and light trucks for the environment, and it would seem to also be a huge potential for driving down the cost of every single thing we consume. So especially when you put FSD on it and you no longer have the driver, might we see hundreds or even thousands of these uh, produced in the future? You know, from watching this channel, I think it'll be 1 million a year. Brian Wong thinks it'll be 4 million a year. But when will is FSD going to be added soon? That'll be another part of the question. Will there be a Tesla fleet? Will Tesla have their own fleet of trucks out there doing pickup and delivery, or will they only be sold to fleets, to third parties? Will we have other large truck manufacturing in other countries? They might not all look quite like that semi truck, but they'd be variations of it depending on other countries and what they're used to. A lot of stylistic differences in other countries. So that's my questions about the semi truck. Next one is the ramp of the gigafactories has been pretty fast by other company standards, but not by Tesla standards. Is there some thought as to whether there will be like a bunch of these sprouting up all over the world? It seems simple enough. Maybe there are battery constraints. Maybe there's other reasons why not. But you said originally you had a goal of 1 terawatt by, I think, 2030. We're going to have to build a bunch of those to get anywhere close to 1 terawatt. Is that still the plan? Is that still the goal? And is there some kind of a timeline in terms of how many of these that you're hoping to make? Also, at the 3 factories, the 2 factories that are already built, the third factory that's under construction now, are those really only capable of 40 gigawatt hours each, making a total of 120? Or is that really sandbagging and they'll actually all be able to do a lot more? Are there plans to expand them, et cetera? Because how are we going to get? I mean, right now we're talking about 120 gigawatts. That is a long way from a terawatt. Okay. We're seeing videos. This is the next question. We're seeing videos of competitive humanoid robots with very clever features and very clever capabilities. Will we be seeing Optimus at work in the factory soon? This is assuming, of course, that a month from now we haven't already seen some videos showing the capabilities, but it's been a while since we've seen some videos. So will we be seeing Optimus at work in the factory soon? And would you say that Tesla is ahead of these other offerings in a meaningful way, to the best of your understanding? Figure, for instance, some of these other ones in China, they've got some pretty cool stuff that they can do. They can operate pretty much at human speed now. They can interact with one another. There's a whole bunch of some of them have, language skills already. So when are we going to get all of that stuff? How are we doing in terms of the competition? And then any updates on how many bots will be working at Tesla in 2025? You've already talked about how many you plan to make in 26 and 27, but when are we going to get some pricing? How's it going to work? When are we going to get maybe a reveal that shows the features, benefits, and the pricing, and the shipping schedule for 2026? That would be really all fun to know. And, it could be that you're going to have a big meeting and have a lot of fun with this or not. But either way, are you ready to announce? We know that it's going to eventually, hopefully, get down to 30,000. But I have to believe that's 5 years away. What is it going to be next year? You have given us, next question is, you have given us an expectation of I'm sorry, I just said that. You have said that you would ask the board about Tesla taking a position in XAI, buying some stock in XAI. Has that been proposed to the board? And where is the board on that question right now? We're here, have a stockholders meeting coming up soon. When is that going to be proposed at the stockholders meeting? Should the stockholders themselves put together some kind of raise the question at the stockholders meeting in terms of a proposal and get a vote. Okay, what's going to happen with that? All right. Next question: how is the refinery going? What percentage of our battery needs will this refinery provide? We've never heard that at all. And will it take care of all of Tesla's needs in that refinery, or will it actually do more than Tesla's needs and be capable of selling the refined product to other factories? Next question. Are we still going to see a different form factor vehicle that we sometimes call the Model Q? Is this a real thing? Now, hopefully by the board meeting, the conference call next month, we'll already see the Model Q. We'll already be like, oh, that was great. But if not, that would be like maybe the second question, maybe even before the ones that I was putting up there. But what's happened to the Model Q? Is this a real thing? Is it really just a step down Model Y, like the one they're talking about, like the one we have in Mexico, or the one they're talking about maybe doing someday in China? Or is there really a completely different form factor, like a hatchback, et cetera, that we've all been expecting? And will that still be revealed before the end of June? Or is it being put off at this point? Next to last one, is there an update on Dojo? Is this going to provide a product or service that will produce revenue? Or is this always going to just be part of the internal compute capability? Which way is that product going to go? We'd love to hear more. When is Dojo 3? Is Dojo 3 still on schedule? What exact month is that you think Dojo 3 will be coming out? And what kind of numbers is the Dojo 3 going to have? Is it going to catch up to NVIDIA? That'd be fun to know as well. And then finally, what are your plans for additional compute for Tesla? So we know you've got this massive compute capability at the south end of Austin's Gigafactory. Is that going to be, we've heard rumors or suggestions that might be doubled. Is it going to be doubled? Is it possible to double it within that facility, or is it going to have to be more building in order to do that? When is the timing for that? And then beyond that, is there another, like we're seeing with Memphis, is there going to be even more than a doubling? What does that look like into the future? Now, it's your turn in the comments below. Which one, if there's some of these that you think I didn't give enough information or enough detail, or if there's other questions that you would have asked or that you think should be asked, put those down. We'll keep all of these and I'll add more to them as we go. And as we get closer to the earnings call, we'll do this again. And hopefully some of these might make it onto the retail list. Okay, so if you haven't already done it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notify button, and tomorrow morning, a regular day, as far as I know. We'll see. I might be Brian Wong tomorrow night because he's got a couple of things on his mind that he'd like to do. And then, but it should be Nicholas Gibbs tomorrow evening. Just for fun, as long as we're doing this late, I'll take a quick look at the stock, see where we are right now. We're down 248 in the overnight, 235.32 at this particular moment. All right, is there anything else I need to tell you? Oh yeah, earlier, of course, it was Larry Goldberg, and I know you guys like him best. We won't tell the other ones, okay? But we know you like him best. So if you didn't already look at the Larry Goldberg video, I will put a card right here for you to go back and check out what Larry and I talked about tonight. I assure you, it was a ton of fun. We talked a lot about Doge. We talked a lot about the economy and where things are going. And of course, we talked about the news of the day with regard to Tesla. All right, now I'm done. That's it. It's been great talking to you. See ya.